it's all about lights, lighting, and luminaries. That's based on a number of shurim by Rav Soloveitchik. And I'm hoping that afterwards we'll have a much deeper sense of things that we're familiar with that have to do with Chanuka, and maybe we'll appreciate it a lot more. And we're actually going to start with a very peculiar question. I want you to take a look. I want to compare source number 2 to source number 3. And since tonight we are only a couple nights away from Chanuka, let's see where it's positioned, where Chanuka is positioned. Let's compare and contrast the laws of the Rambam to the Shulchan Aruch. Take a look at source number 2. There's a Prate HaMitzvot al Seder Halachot of Rambam, the Sefer Zmonim, Sefer Shlishi, who's Sefer Zmonim. And here we go. Shabbat, Eruvin, Shvitat Asor, which is which holiday? What Shvitat Asor? Yom Kippur. Shvitat Yom Tov, Chametz U'Matzah, Shofar, Sukkah, Lulav, Shkalim, Kedush Levana, Taniyat, and Megillah and Chanukah. What do you notice about Chanukah? Where does Chanukah fit? It's last, okay? And what else is strange about Chanukah in the Rambam? It doesn't say Hilchot Chanukah. You know why it doesn't say Hilchot Chanukah? Because what? Because Hilchot Chanukah is just an appendage to Hilchot Megillah. Meaning the laws of Purim, it's called Hilchot Megillah U'Chanukah. First couple of prakim deal with Purim, and then the third perek begins the laws of Chanukah. Now, why is that strange? How come? How come Chanukah, according to the Rambam, doesn't deserve its own what? Its own sefer. Question number 1. Everyone understand the question? How come the Rambam didn't include Chanukah in its own sefer? What? It's not a chashuv enough holiday? By the way, you should know. They did a study in America. Chanukah is number 2. What is the first most celebrated Jewish holiday? It's Pesach. And Chanukah is the second most celebrated holiday. It is the most popular holiday among Jewish college students. Do you know why that is?
Chabad.
What?
Party.
Maybe because of Chabad. Do you know why it is? Probably.
Because Christmas is at the same time.
Exactly. Very good. Rabbi Soloveitchik always used to say that Chanukah saved the Jewish people. Imagine living in America in the 1950s when you're bombarded by this messaging and not having any Jewish thing to connect to. So really, to some extent, Chanukah really comes at a good time. And usually, most years, Chanukah precedes the 25th of December. So you kind of get like, your juiced up Judaism while they're still shopping, and then so it kind of makes you feel good. And also, by the way, Chanukah is a very easy entry point. Eating a latkes, spinning a drill, blowing a candle, it's not like so, it's much better than eating like a cracker called matzah, right, It's much better than refraining from eating bread. So Chanukah is a much easier entry point. It's very popular. Holiday number 1 on college campuses. Okay, let's compare that to the Shulchan Aruch, everybody. Take a look at the Shulchan Aruch. What are his laws? Pesach, Yom Tov, Chol Moed, Tisha B'Av, fast days, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Chanukah, Purim. What do you immediately notice?
Different order.
Different order. Can someone tell me what's the difference? Oh, besides that Chanukah and Purim are flipped. Right? What's the difference between putting Chanukah and Purim as opposed to Purim and then Chanukah? Can I get a drink? What's the difference?
The time it comes seems to
Explain.
be more orderly. In the Shulchan Aruch, it goes in order of what comes first during the
Very
year.
good, the calendar year. Very good, excellent. Meaning, let's go through the time of the year. What holiday, if you start with Pesach, what holiday is first in the Shulchan Aruch? Pesach, and then you hit Chanukah. And what will be the last holiday of the year? It'd be Purim. So the Shulchan Aruch goes according to the calendar. What order does the Rambam choose? Not the calendar year, but the chronological. Excellent. What comes first, Chanukah or Purim? Purim. How do you know? Well, which one's in Tanakh? Purim. Right? It's called Megillat Esther. Chanukah is not in Tanakh. So Purim comes first. Interesting. Do we see anyone know why the Rambam write his Mishnah Torah? Like, why did the Rambam feel that he needed to compile the entire Mishnah Torah? Like, well, why? This is very fun. Take a look at source number 1. The Rambam is going to give us the secret. Ani Moshe ben Maimon Hasfardi Nishtirti al Tzur Baruch Hu b'Yinotai b'chol elas v'rim v'riti l'chaber dvarim v'mitparim mikol elu chibrim b'inyan ha'isur v'mutar t'metahar ad shar im shar dinei Torah. Says the Rambam, my goal is to write everything. Basically, right? Kulam b'loshon birura. You'll notice the Rambam, considering that he lived in the Middle Ages, his Hebrew is simple. It's clear. V'derech tzara. It's simple. It's straightforward. Anshe de Torah shebal peh kula sudura v'fi hakol b'lo koshi v'lo piru. Just read it. You want to know the oral law? You want to know Torah shebal peh? You read the Mishnah Torah of the Rambam. So if that's true, let's continue for a second. Let's skip down to the next part that's underlined. A couple words before. Ela yechibur ze mekabet l'Torah shebal peh kula im takanot minhagod gzerot shenasu mimot Moshe Rabbeinu v'ad chabur hagmara k'mo sheb'shulanu gonim b'chol chiburim shechibru achar hagmara. The Rambam says, I'm writing the entire Torah shebal peh, the entire Masoret, from Moshe Rabbeinu till the Gaonim, is being written in my Mishnah Torah. That is his purpose. By the way, does the Rambam include any footnotes in his writing? There are footnotes in the Rambam? No. Never tell you where he gets it from. Which often leads to a lot of challenges. Where will Rambam get this from, right? Often, 98% of the time, it's really easy. That 2% though is a real challenge. So, question. Why did the Rambam feel that he had to include Purim before Chanuka? Why did the Rambam have to write it in the chronological order? The hint is source number one. Why is the Rambam, what's he trying to accomplish in his Mishnah Torah? Okay, so what? If I put it on the order, it wouldn't be clear? Why is it clearer to have Purim before Chanuka? Why does it make Chanuka clearer?
Maybe because it also teaches you, like, if you didn't know, I guess he's, like, his element of clarity is by teaching you that this is the order of how it occurred chronologically. It's like you're learning something historically in a sense as well.
Oh, but we're careful. He's not interested in a history lesson. He's interested in Torah shebal peh. Right? Why having Purim before Chanuka is necessary from there to teach you about Torah shebal peh? Why? Yeah.
You've already read Torah shebal peh before Torah shebal peh.
And therefore?
And therefore, Purim is in Torah shebal peh and Chanuka is not.
Is Purim really in Torah shebal peh?
No, it's not. I mean,
Purim isn't in Torah shebal peh. It's in Tanakh, but careful. Ksuvim is in Torah shebal peh. Ksuvim is in Torah shebal peh. Torah shebal peh is just Chamishah Torah. Right?
What's just the halachos that are involved?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, like, I don't know, like, let's say the whole thing with Hillel.
Okay.
Like, why you would say Hillel on...
Where are the laws of Hillel found in the Rambam? I'd like to see that, actually. You know where Rambam puts laws of Hillel? Not in laws of Tefillah. You know where he puts it? In laws of Chanuka. I'll talk about that. Some special of Hillel connected to Chanuka. We'll get there in a minute. What's Purim the first of? What makes Purim drastically different from any other Jewish holiday that preceded Purim?
Yeah.
Takes place in Tivil Chutzars. What else makes Purim an anomaly? It's around the time of Beit HaMikdash. True, but again, there's a more fundamental. What's the biggest chiddush of Purim ever? It's not in the Torah, so therefore, it's rabbinic. See, Chanuka is not independent when it comes to Torah shebal peh. But what's it based on? Purim. Purim is the matir, is the license to celebrate Chanuka. You follow? Meaning, once Purim is created and there's a concept called rabbis can create Jewish holidays, then do you have to explain all that about Chanuka? No, because what do you already have?
Purim. You
have Purim. And this, Rav Soloveitchik said, is fundamental to understanding the holiday of Chanuka. I'll give you a couple examples. Source number 4. The Gemara asks in Megillah, Gemara of Shmuel Bar Yehuda, Shalach ala Mesel Chachamim. Esther writes a letter to Chazal at the time and asks the following question. Kav'uni l'dorat. Establish my holiday, establish my Sefer, establish Purim forever. And they send her a message, Kinat Morev Toli Ben Humot. You're going to arouse jealousy. You're going to write a public book where the Jews beat up the non-Jews? That's not good. That's just going to increase anti-Semitism. It's going to increase people reading about the protocols of the elders of Zion. You can't do that. Shalachem kfar katuva al divrei hayamim l'malchei prasu madai. It's already written in the historical chronicles. Eventually, Chachamim established it as a holiday. The rabbis say, you know when? It took time. The following year, they established it as a holiday. Did you ever see anywhere that Chanuka is we celebrate or not celebrate it? We celebrate it. Isn't that same Havamina that maybe we shouldn't celebrate Chanuka? Right? Or that questions authority from a halachic perspective. Right? It's true maybe the Shana Acheret, the next year they established it, the Halav, the Hoda'ah, but it's established Chanuka right away as a Yom Tov. I'll give you another example. Look at source number 5. We know the Gemara asks a question. Maybe we shouldn't celebrate Purim. Do you know why? Take a look at source number 5. There were 48 Arba Mishmona Nevi'im V'Shev Nevi'ot. There were 48 prophets and 7 prophetesses. Shenitabu Lahem Yisrael V'lo Pachtu V'lo Tira Mashkatu B'Torah. They didn't add, they didn't take away any from the Torah. Chutz Mikra Megillah. Reading the Megillah was the only thing they added. What about Hanukkah? The answer is no, they didn't add Hanukkah. What's Hanukkah just piggybacking on? Purim. Uma Darush. What was the rationale for establishing the holiday called Purim? Amar Reb Chia bar Avin, Amar Reb Yeshua ben Korcha, Ma avdut lecherut amrinan shira. From slavery to freedom, we recite shira. What holiday is it referring to? Pesach. Memita lechayim lokoshakim. From death to life. How much more so? What holiday is that? That's Purim. Meaning, if we establish Pesach as a holiday, for sure we have to establish Purim as a holiday. By the way, you see now how this concept of Yom HaTzmaut can come about, right? The idea of freedom, the idea of almost a death experience. But the problem is, what do we say on Pesach? We say Halal, don't we? Do we say Halal on Purim? Why not? We don't recite Halal on a miracle that takes place where? In Chutz La'aretz. We recite only Halal if the nace takes place where? In Eretz Yisrael. The question is, Yitzhak Mitzrayim, the nace Chutz La'aretz, Heichar and Shira. But what about Yitzhak Mitzrayim? That happened in Chutz La'aretz. We say Halal. Kedetanya, Ad Shal Nechnesu Eretz Yisrael, Hukshiru Kotzot Lamar Shira. Only once they entered the land of Israel were they permitted to say Shira. Okay, we see from here that it was entering the land of Israel that really gives the permission to say Halal on Pesach. Okay. So, point number 1 is, I wanted to establish that the whole idea of having a Chanuka is literally standing on the coattails of Purim. And that's why, according to the Rambam, who wants to organize Torah Shebaal Peh, he had to write about the laws of Purim first. Because Chanukah can't exist without a Purim. I'm going to show you 2 places where I think this is true. Look at source number 6, Halacha Aleph. I'll show you 2 more examples, then move on to the second half. Take a look at 6. All of a sudden, the Rambam wants to talk about, this is the first thing he says about Chanukah. You know what he says? Halacha Aleph. B'bayit sheni kishe malchu yavan gazru gzerat al Yisrael. Ubitlu datam v'lo nichu atam lasok b'torah b'mitzvot. The times of Bayit Sheni, when Yavin was around, that Gzerat, and he goes through the story of Chanuka. And take a look at that last line. How does he end? By the way, he ends a very important statement. See the last line, the third word? Ve'emidu melach min hakohanim. Eventually the Chashmonim established a king who was a priest. V'chazra malchut Yisrael. And Jewish dominion returned back to sovereign Israel. Yet there are Matayim Mishana for 200 years out of Chorban Sheni, when there no longer was Jewish sovereignty. The concept of creating Malchut Yisrael is an important idea according to Rambam and Halacha. Why does the Rambam need to discuss why Chanukah was established? I don't understand. He never discusses why Purim was established. Why does the Rambam have to start with it? The answer is very simple. According to the Rambam, you only need, I hate to say this, you only need 2 books according to the Rambam. Take a look. Take a look at the end of source number 1. This is very controversial, but he says it, so he means it. Look at that last line in the Rambam, in source number 1. Lefi, according to the Rambam, Lefi she'adam koreh b'torah she'bichtav tchila. You first read Chumash, v'achar kach, and the truth is, I want to apologize, I said before, he does, I think he is referring to a little bit of Tanakh as well. V'achar kach koreh bazeh. The Rambam said you only really need 2 books. You need a Tanakh, and you need my Mishnah Torah. You don't need Gemara. You don't need any other Rishonim. You need 2 books, and you have the entire Judaism in your hands. I'm going to save you all the work, says the Rambam. You need Tanakh, you need the Mishnah Torah. So why does the Rambam have to start in Halacha Aleph, in Perek Gimel, with why was what Chanukah established? The answer is, you read Tanakh, you're not going to know why there's Chanukah. Where does Chanukah come from? Where does Chanukah come? Oh, you want to know how it starts? Read the Rambam. So the Rambam says, if you want to know Chanukah, reading Tanakh is not going to help you. And I don't want you to have to read Gemara. I want you to just read my book called the Mishnah Torah. It's massive, 14 books on all of Torah Shabbat Peh. So therefore he has to teach you about what is Chanukah all about. Which makes sense. Turn the page, I'll show you 2 more proofs. Look at Halacha Gimel. מפני זה התקינו חכמים שבאותו הדור שיהיו 8 ימים האלו שתחילתן מלל 25th of Kislev ימי שמחה והלל. Chanukah is established of days of joy and days of halal, Hillel, of praise. ומדליקין בהן נרות בערב על פתחי הבתים בכל לילה ולילה משמונת הלילות להראות ולגלות הנס, in order to reveal the great miracle. וימים אלו הן נקראים חנוכה והן אסורים בהספד ותענית כימי הפורים. What does the Rambam rely on? Purim. Meaning, everything that's usher on Chanukah is just because it's usher to do all these things when? On Purim. See what he does? He compares everything back to Purim, because it's all about Purim, and I'll just look at this, you'll see this in Halacha Daled. You see what he does? He's always bringing it back and establishing it in this notion of Purim. Okay. One major question remains in the Rambam, which we're going to come back to at the end. Why is it Halacha Hey and Vav and Zayin, which are skipped, and Chet, etc., are the laws of Hillel? Why are the laws of Hillel in Hilchot Chanukah? Why aren't they in the laws of Tefillah? Why? Anyone take a shot at it? Why do you think the Rambam decided? Like, why not put? Why you can't put it in the laws of Purim? I get it. Why? Because you don't say Halal on Purim. It was a Nes and Chusar. It's fine. But how come? Why not put the laws of Halal in Pesach? By the way, Pesach Halal is Doraita, no? But Chanukah, which is a Durban holiday, that's where we're going to put Halal in? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. When we want to take a shot, why would the Rambam put the laws of Halal in Hilchot Chanukah? What's he trying to tell us with the holiday?
Well, the idea that it's not explicit from the Torah, but it's kind of like a man.
With what's not from the Torah?
Hollow.
Okay.
And just as Hanukkah is like that. So Hanukkah is the precedent to do that. So
and if you would have put it in the laws of Pesach, then.
It's from the Torah, so.
What about Dalet Kosa? Dalet Kosa from the Torah? Maror Bisman Azeh, it's not from the Torah. Right? Meaning there are aspects of Pesach which are not to be Doraita, right? Okay, but maybe we want to say is, okay, but there are Doraitas. So by putting Halal, maybe you think that since it's, okay, could be, yeah.
It's a bit of a kol v'chomer, if anything, because it shows you if you say it on Chanukah, then it's automatically kol v'chomer, like you would say it on Pesach, which is Doraita, and.
You're saying put it in a D'Rabbanan holiday.
So then you don't have to say it.
Then for sure you learn it out on other D'Oraita holidays. Okay, good, very good. Okay, let's come back to that. Wait, if you wanted, here's something else that's very strange about Chanukah. Is there a Masechet called Chanukah? No. Very strange. It's in Shabbos. Excellent, wonderful. With the one exception where they mention tangentially something about Chanukah, if you wanted to open up, what happens? Hilchot Chanukah, you have to open up the Sechet Shabbat. Why? First of all, question number one. Why did they decide to place everything about Chanukah in Mesachet Shabbat? Why? So the answer is, anyone know what the topic that Shabbos talks about that leads into the topic of Chanukah? What is that connector? Candles. Anyone know what parak it's in? It's in the parak called B'mem Madlikin. You know the parak that we see in Shul Friday night? The people, scan over. Scan, like Hillel, right? Scan, don't really say it, right? And it's very strange. All of a sudden, we're reading now. What's B'mem Madlikin means? What in English? B'mem Madlikin. What do you use to light your Shabbos candles? Well, don't you use? When the Gemara all of a sudden talks about Shabbos candles, it says, wait, time out. There's other candles, and they are Chanuka candles, and that is source number 7. All of a sudden, Chanuka is found, it's embedded in the Sechet Shabbat. And what's the connection? Lights. So, Tan Rabbanan, Mitzvah Chanuka Ner Yishubeito. There we go. Question. What's the fundamental difference, ladies and gentlemen, between Chanukah candles and Shabbos candles? What's the fundamental difference between them?
You can't use one of them as light.
Excellent. You're not allowed to benefit from the Chanukah candles. What about the Shabbos candles? That's the whole purpose of the candle. Right? Wonderful. Excellent. What else? Difference between them. The women light the Shabbos candles, and the women light the Chanukah candles, and the men light the Chanukah candles.
Yeah, but it's more for the women, specifically.
Right. So careful. That's really, the house has an obligation to light the Shabbos candles, and who is responsible for the home? That's the wives. The wives are given the mitzvah of Shabbos candles.
So everyone's supposed to Ner Yishubeito.
As opposed to when it comes to Chanukah. Ner ish ubeito. One now again. So minhag Ashkenaz, not minhag Sephardi. Minhag Ashkenaz is everyone lights their own, right? In many circles, even in the frumest of the frum, single women, married women light the menorah, right? Whereas it could actually be problematic for two people to light Shabbos candles in their own home, despite that big sign outside 770. It says mothers and daughters light candles at a certain time. It's not. There are many people who argue that a single woman should not light her own candles, right? And if she makes a bracha, it could be a problem. Okay, that's for another time, right? But regardless, for sure, everyone should light their own candles for Chanukah. There's different hugging when it comes to women or a married lady. Could be she subsumed under her husband or not. That's a machlokas. But regardless, very good. So what are the differences so far? You use the Shabbos candles. Everyone lights the Chanukah candles. What else?
What you light with. It's the most mahadran on Chanukah to light with oil, whereas on Shabbos I don't think it's.
Well, Shabbos is nice, but we're definitely feeling more makbid by Chanukah. Good. What else would be a difference? Who's it for?
It's Persumei Nisa for Chanukah.
For Chanukah, Persumei Nisa. Persumei Nisa for whom? From the outside. Now, forget the time that was dangerous. Forget the dangerous time. Ideally, the mitzvah was for who? Outside. How do we know? You know that in times of the Gemara, if you didn't light candles yet, and you walked by and you saw someone else's candles, you just make a bracha on it. Right? Shasta Nisim. That was the original takana. You'd see someone else's candles, and that's what you made the bracha. Shasta Nisim. What's another proof that Chanukah candles are for outside? Where do you light them? Over the window, no? Good. And what did you say? You order so that people from the outside could be able to recognize it. Okay, good. What's the time span of when you're supposed to light it? What's the...
If it's Shabbos, then the Chanukah candles are supposed to go longer than the Shabbos candles.
Well, not necessarily. I'll tell you the difference is, when are you supposed to light the Chanukah candles? Ideally, what time? When it's dark outside. Yeah. Why when it's dark outside? So people outside could see the difference between light. If you light when there's light outside, is that going to help you? No, I can't see anything. But about Shabbos candles, you always light when it's light outside. Or inside, right? Forget modern day electrical appliances, right? But you always light, you have to light Shabbos candles when it's light. For Chanuka, it is machloket, by Shkia, by whatever the timing is of machloket, but you light, for sure, the light has to be kindling when it's dark outside. That's for sure. What's the end time of Chanuka lights? What's the terminology in the Gemara? What's the end time? What do they call it? Until when? Anyone know the phrase? Tichle regel min hashuk. The last person from the markets come in. How long is that usually? Approximately half an hour. That's how long does it take people from the time it gets dark outside till everyone gets home? Half hour. By the way, Rav Soloveitchik had a very big chumrah. He felt that in the modern day, if you take a look at an urban city, I don't know about you, half hour where it's dark outside is 5:30. I wonder how many of you have all your parents home, right, at 5:30 at night, right? Not go outside about this street. 5:30 it'll take you, a good half hour, 40 minutes from York University to Thornhill, right? People are not 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Because of modern day traffic patterns, the Rav felt that your candles have to be kindling until everyone's home from work, which is pretty late, right? It's a chumrah, but he said the Gemara says until everyone's home from work. It doesn't say half hour. So what? We assume how long does they people get home? Half hour. That's true 2,000 years ago. That's not so true. That's not so true today. So it's nice to have your Chanuka candles go as long as possible. Nothing wrong with that at all. That's a chumrah, but it's a nice idea, and it makes sense from a logical perspective. Let's continue for a second. So we were talking about what the primary purpose of Chanuka candles and primary purpose of Shabbos candles. Chanuka candles are for out, people outside. What's that show called? Shalom in the home, right? If you only have money for Shabbos or Chanuka, you only have money for one candle. What do you spend it on? Shabbos or Chanuka? Shabbos. Why? Why is it more important? You're right. Why?
They're right.
Chanuka candles are probably not deraita. Accepting Shabbos is deraita. So, okay, it's tadir. Also because of?
It's like one mitzvah to bring in Shabbos, but for the Chanuka candles, you could like you said, you could take less
on someone else's. That is true. Good, right? You know why? It's called Shalom Bayit is more important. Shalom Bayit is more important than pursuing Nista. Fortifying your home is more important than what's going on outside. We'll come back to that in a second. In source number 7, I want to point out two things that are fascinating. You know the machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel that we're all familiar with? Let's read source 7 properly. So again, I started off by saying mitzvah Chanuka near Shabbeto. Mehadrin nir l'chol echad v'echad. So what does that mean? What's the Mehadrin level? Right, so if there are 4 people in the house, the 4th night of Chanuka, how many candles do you light? According to Nir L'chol Echad V'echad. Just 4. Right? Forget the number of nights. The night of Chanuka is irrelevant. Just the number of people. The third opinion is Mehadrin Mina Mehadrin. The most mehudar way, so this is the Machloket Ashkenazim and Sfardim. Do you light everyone in the house light their own, or only one candelabra per home? Okay, that's a Machloket. But Shammai says, Yom Rishon Madlik Shmoneh, Mikan Velach Pochet V'holech. So what does Bet Shammai hold? The first night of Chanukah, you light how many candles? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Well, Bet Hillel Omrim, Yom Rishon Madlik Echad, Mikan Velach Moshe V'holech. 1, 2, 3. What are they arguing over? What, like Bet Shammai likes NASA? He likes countdowns? 8, 7, right? Is that what he's arguing over? The Gemara continues. Amar Ula, Plige bar Tre Amorai b'Marava. There's a machloket in Amar Morayim. Rabbi Yossi bar Ravin, Rabbi Yossi bar Zavida. Chad Amar. Here we go. Tama de Beit Hillel. What's the rationale for Bet Shammai? Keneged Yamima Nichnasim. What's Bet Shammai holding? 8 days are left. 7 days are left. 6 days. Tama de Beit Hillel. Keneged Yamim Hayotzim. Days that are departing. 1 to 5. Chad Amar. Tama de Bet Shammai Kineged Parei Achag. What's the rationale behind Bet Shammai? It's just like what? What is a Parei Achag? Korbanot of Sukkot. How many Korbanot of Sukkot are offered on the first day of Sukkot? How many Parim during the Musaf are offered on day 1 of Sukkot? Not 8. 14. Very good. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. You add them up. You know what you get to? 70. Keneged, 70 nations of the world. What in the world? Sukkot? Hello? That was like so yesterday. That was like springtime. Fall. Like 20 degrees outside. What does it do with anything? V'tamad b'Hillel, malin b'kodesh v'in moridim. We ascend. 1, 2, ascend. Can anyone explain to me what in the world is this machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel? What does korbanot of Musaf, the cows of the sacrifices offered on Sukkot, what does that have to do with the descending order of Chanukah candles? It's meshugah. It's preposterous. I want to explain to Rav Soloveitchik. Rav Soloveitchik had a beautiful insight. He said like this: why is it that Hilchot Chanukah is embedded in Hilchot Shabbos? Why is everything with Chanukah embedded in literally Bameh Madlikin? He said there's a dichotomy, there's a paradox between these two candles. When it talks about Shabbat, the candles of Shabbat, we provide light in the world of darkness, primarily for our Jewish homes. We have to ensure that there is light for our parents, for our family, and that light must kindle and must resonate every single Shabbat, every single week that we have a home, forever. But there's another message. And for this 1 week, or for 8 days, for 8 nights, we have another message, which is very valuable in Judaism. You know what the value is? That we light candles and we brighten up the dark world, not in our home, but the dark world of out there. Shabbat is Reshut HaYachid. Shabbat, you can't carry Reshut HaYachid, Reshut HaRabbi. The halachot of Shabbat are created, forget in Eruv, right? Are essentially created so that you're fortified in your Jewish home. By the way, even within Eruv, you're still isolated in your Jewish community. You can't walk 2,000 amot out of the city. And let's face it, in a day where there's modern day travel, all you can do is walk. If you're really in good shape, you can make it to Lawrence from up here, right? But to go down, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So to some extent, Shabbat is about your Jewish home. Chanukah, for 8 nights, we tell the world there's a God. The world is dark, and it's the responsibility of the Jew to light up the dark world. That's our responsibility as part of the Jewish people. It's about Reshut HaRabim. It's about Mishatichla Regal Minashuk, when people outside are coming home and they see the candles in the window. That's Chanukah. So Rav Soloveitchik said this is the dichotomy. These are the tension, right? Shabbat, Chanukah. Shabbat, Chanukah. Says Rav Soloveitchik, you can't have a Chanukah unless you have Shabbat. If all you're doing is trying to spread light to the outside world, and you don't have a strong home, and you don't have a strong foundation, you're just wasting your time. If all we do in life is think that it's Chanukah and light candles and try to illuminate the world outside, and that's all we're doing, we're missing a very important point. To some extent, it doesn't have legs to stand on. It has to be grounded. The candles have to be lit in your home, let them shine outside. So Chanukah has to be embedded in Shabbos. Chanukah can't be independent from Shabbos. And this maybe is a machloket between Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel. What are they each saying? Bet Shammai says the following. You know what Bet Shammai says? We start off with 8. A lot of candles to the outside world. But when the holiday is over, we retreat into 1. We retreat back as the Jew, as the one home, as the one family, as the one nation, and one people. The influence outside diminishes each night. And when Chanukah is over, we're back, we've retreated, we're back to 1 candle, 1 light. And where does he get this from? Sukkot. Ladies and gentlemen, how the last day of Sukkot is called Shemini Atzeret, 8. How many cows are offered on Shemini Atzeret in the Musaf prayer? Just 1. Why? What do we say in Shemini Atzeret? The nations of the world are for Sukkot. But Shemini Atzeret, who celebrates Shemini Atzeret? What does Rashi say? It's a Yom Tov just for the Jewish people and God. God says, stick around another day to celebrate with me. It's about one. You start off with 14, 13, 12, Keneged Shivi Umatot, the nations of the world. But on the last day of Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, it's about one. One cow, one Jewish people, one God, one home. It's not about everyone else. And so when you want to light, says Bet Shammai, you start off with a lot. You retreat back into one. Comes along Bet Hillel and says, no, you don't understand. It is so true that the world is dark and the world is difficult and there are challenges out there. But you know what we have to do as a Jew? We have to be Ma'alim B'Kodesh. We have to learn, we have to ascend in holiness and ascend in Kedusha. We can't retreat into our home. We have to start slowly and build one candle, two candles, three candles at a time. So by the end of Chanuka, we have 8 candles which are illuminating the entire world outside. Not retreat into ourselves. Instead, we have to grow and have a greater influence as the days continue of Chanuka to the outside world. That is the purpose of Chanuka. As opposed to Bet Shammai, who says, no, we retreat back into one, we retreat back into Shabbat, we retreat back into ourselves. That is the machloket between, I believe, the two. And the philosophy of Chanuka, according to Bet Hillel, so you start off slow and you build. How much more influence do you have outside? How much more do you want to light up the outside world? According to the philosophy of Bet Shammai, you can start off with a lot. But when Chanuka is over, we're still back to the lonely Jew, the lonely home, the lonely person. And I think this is, they both agree you got to illuminate the world. The question is, how do you view it? What prism do you use? And I think this is, and we know it's a scary world out there. Both agree it's scary. Both agree you have to light up the world. The question is, what's your philosophy? What's your hashkafat olam that you have? And Rav Kook has a beautiful, and I believe Rav Soloveitchik said something similar, not exactly the same. But Rav Kook has a beautiful, takes us to another level. And Rav Kook says, if you take a look at the source, source number 8. The machloket Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel having to do with the Seudah, having to do with the brachot, and they have a machloket. When you make, at the end of Shabbos, you make a bracha of the fire, another candle. That's probably the third candle in halacha, is the Havdalah candle. Bet Shammai says, what's the bracha you make? Shebara me'or ha'esh. Bet Hillel omrim, borei me'orei ha'esh. What are they arguing over? What are they arguing over? This is what they're arguing over, says Rav Kook. What a beautiful idea. What tense is the word bara? Past. What tense is Hillel? Borei. That he is what?
Building.
He's building. He's creating. Says Rav Kook. We see this is a fundamental machloket in the hashkafa of Bet Hillel and Bet Shammai. Right? What does Bet Hillel say? What is, by the way, when was the first fire? When was the first fire ever created? So Chazal tell us it was Motzei Shabbos. Take a look at source number 9. Second line there. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Shnei dvarim olah b'machshava l'briyat ve'erev Shabbat, lo nivru al Motzei Shabbat. God wanted to create these things in their Shabbos, but they were only created on Motzei Shabbos. Exactly what that means is for another time. Motzei Shabbat, Natan HaKadosh Baruch Hu Deya b'Adam HaRishon. On Motzei Shabbos, God gave man knowledge. Meaning Dugma Shomala, almost like the knowledge of this celestial knowledge, of this heavenly knowledge. Ve'hevi Shnei Avanim, he brought 2 stones. Ve'tachanan Zoviza, and what did he do with them? He grinded them together, he struck them together, he made a flint. Ve'yatza mehen or. On Motzei Shabbos, by the way, this is why on Motzei Shabbos, for Havdalah, you have to create the fire. You have to strike a match on Motzei Shabbos. Right? Which leads to a problem on Motzei Yom Kippur. You're not allowed to use fire. You have to make a bracha on fire, but you shouldn't strike it, because it wasn't created on Thursday night or Tuesday night, right? You're supposed to what? Use a nair that was kindling all Shabbos to make Havdalah on Yom Kippur. Supposed to Motzei Shabbos, you must create that fire. I mean, unless it's like Motzei Shabbos of Yom Tov, right? That's a different story. So, if we want, what's the machloket? Says Rav Kook, a beautiful idea. He says, Bet Shammai says, Motzei Shabbos, what are you doing? By the way, what's the function of Havdalah? The function of Havdalah, I believe, is the Gemara says you have to be Mekadesh the Shabbat when it begins and Mekadesh Shabbat when it ends. B'kinisato v'yetziato. So how you Mekadesh Shabbat in the beginning? You Kiddush. The end is Havdalah. The Ramban says, what's the purpose of Havdalah? I don't understand. What is Havdalah for? I can say the words Baruch Hamavdo ben Kodesh L'cho, and I can do any malacha I want by saying those 4 words. Right? Women didn't say Havdalah. Women are at home. They want to start cleaning or whatever, or using their cell phones. They need to say Baruch Hamavdo ben Kodesh L'cho. They don't have to wait for Havdalah. So what's the function of Havdalah? Says the Ramban, Havdalah is a matir to eat food. You can't eat food until you've heard Havdalah. Why? Because food has a special function on Shabbat. Eating on Shabbat is a mitzvah. Eating on Motzei Shabbat, eating during the week, you need it for survival. And the question is, what impact has Shabbat had in you? If Shabbat had an effect on you, then your week is going to look totally different. And before you want to eat, before you want to engage in something physical, right? What do you want to do? You want to recite Havdalah. You want to say, what impact did my Shabbat have on my food of the week? Says Bet Shammai, Motzei Shabbat. You make Havdalah. What are you connecting to? The past. Shebara me'or ha'esh. That you go back in time. You go back in history. You go back to that first moment. Says Bet Hillel. Says, no. Jews, we don't go back. We go to the future. And according to Bet Hillel, what do we say? Bore me'or ha'esh. This very moment is a moment of creativity, of opportunity. Forget the past. Yes, the past is important. But it's about tonight. It's about tomorrow. It's about this week. It's about the future. What impact has Shabbat had to transform my week? Whereas Bet Shammai says, let's do Shabbat and retreat back to that ideal time, perhaps, of Gan Eden. And I think this is this machloket that we see here by the candles of Shabbat, the candles of Chanuka, and the candles of Havdalah all have this beautiful component with it. And at the end of the day, we as Jews, what do? We engage in the world. And we recognize that we have both Shabbos, and we light the candles of Shabbos, and we light the candles of Chanuka. But both Bet Shammai and Bet Hillel agree that Chanuka candles are not independent. They must be in a context of Shabbat. They have to be grounded in Shabbat, grounded in the Jewish family and the Jewish home. In the context, by the way, of learning. And once you've fortified yourself, then you can go out there in the world. And I think when we, one of the things that we tried really to accomplish as part of on campus and off campus and Hillel and JLIC, what we try to accomplish is we try to say, you know what? We need to recognize you have to be able to be fortified yourself. You got to have Shabbat. But at the same time, if all we are is Shabbat, then we're missing part of what it means to be a Jew. We're missing part of what it means to be a Jew. And not to recoil, not to be scared, be nervous, yes, for sure. But at the same time, we're ma'alim b'kodesh. We add fire every single night in how we try to look out there in the world. What can I do to add to my neshama, to add to my own spirituality on a regular basis? And maybe just end with, so why is Hillel in Chanuka? Why did the Rambam put the laws of Hillel in Chanuka? Perhaps we can say the following. You know what Hillel really is? Hillel is about not just Dibur, but Maasim. Real Hillel, that's what Chanuka is. Real Hillel is with actions. How do I demonstrate my Jewishness? How do I demonstrate that I want to have an effect on the world? I light candles to illuminate the world. I do an action that's going to show a public display of light, of fire, of a Jewish presence. That is Hillel. Hillel is saying, I'm not afraid to be a Jew. There is the Rav Shlomo Karbach, when he go around to university campuses, we're talking like in the 60s, he walked over to a college student and told a college student, where are you? Like, where are you from? What's your background? He says, oh, I'm Protestant. So Karbach knew. The person said he was Protestant. He's Protestant. Walked over to another student on campus and said, I'm a Catholic, and I don't know, like my parents, but I'm Christian. Okay? He knew that he was such a Catholic. He would approach someone else, and they'd say, I'm just a humanist. He knew that they were probably Jewish. You have to be proud to be a Jew. You have to say, I'm confident in who I am and what I am, and I'm able to show my Judaism publicly. That is what Chanuka is. And we do that, I believe, that really is the function of Hillel. The Hillel of Masim, of demonstrating and not being afraid to light the candles outside. And, by the way, it's difficult. It's a tightrope. It's living in this multiplicity of life and the synergy of going to university, which is part of the outside world, and at the same time being grounded in our internal world. And it's a struggle of how much you do one over the other. But I think we have to recognize that if we are grounded in Shabbat, then I believe we can do tremendous things with Chanuka. I think we have a tremendous ability to really affect others and around us, and not to retreat. We just continue to be Ma'alim Kodesh, and to continue to shine lights in this dark world, and make the world a little brighter, a little more filled with joy. I just also want to take this opportunity to thank the Burglasses, who have really opened their home pretty much the entire semester, and they didn't open their home. We found a couple other homes in other places, so really thank you all. And Mirza Hashem, after Chanuka, after with a break, exams which are Chanuka, we'll continue, if not in Yerushalayim, then on Thursday nights at other TNTs throughout the city, but definitely primarily here in the Shabbat, the home of the Burglas. Thank you so much. Chanuka Sameach, everyone.